The novel, Mrs. Dalloway, by Virginia Woolf, opens in the morning with Clarissa Dalloway preparing for a party she will host that evening. Set in London in 1923, the narrative follows Clarissa as she moves through her day, weaving together her inner thoughts with her external activities. Clarissa, a 50-year-old woman of high social standing, reflects on her life as she goes about her morning. Despite her outwardly successful life and marriage to Richard Dalloway, a respected politician, Clarissa feels a deep sense of dissatisfaction and introspection. She contemplates her past decisions and the life she might have led had she chosen differently. Clarissa's reflections. Clarissa's thoughts frequently turn to her past, particularly her relationship with Peter Walsh, a former lover who had a profound influence on her life. She recalls their time together and the intellectual and emotional connection they shared. Clarissa ultimately chose to marry Richard, leading a more conventional life, but she is haunted by the choices she made and the vibrant life she might have experienced had she pursued her passions and Peter instead. Peter Walsh. Peter Walsh, who has returned from India, is introduced as a disheveled and somewhat disillusioned figure. He is still emotionally tied to Clarissa and grapples with feelings of regret and failure. Peter wanders through London, reflecting on his life and his unresolved feelings for Clarissa. His visit to her home later in the day is filled with emotional intensity as he expresses his dissatisfaction with his life and the choices they both made. Septimus Warren Smith. Parallel to Clarissa's story is the narrative of Septimus Warren Smith, a war veteran suffering from severe PTSD, known then as shell shock. Septimus is haunted by hallucinations and delusions, and his mental health is deteriorating. His condition is exacerbated by the callousness of the medical professionals who are supposed to help him. Dr. Bradshaw, one of the doctors, represents the era's clinical detachment and the inadequate treatment of mental illness. Septimus's wife, Retzia, is deeply concerned about her husband and feels increasingly isolated as she struggles to manage his condition and the ineffectiveness of the medical system. The day's events. Throughout the day, Clarissa moves through various parts of London, interacting with people from different walks of life. Her activities include shopping for flowers, visiting her former lover, Sally Seton, and engaging in social interactions that reveal the superficiality of high society. Clarissa's reflections during these moments provide insight into her inner life and her feelings of disconnection from the world around her. The party. As evening approaches, Clarissa hosts her party, which is a social success. The gathering is filled with a mix of guests, including her husband Richard, her daughter Elizabeth, and various social acquaintances. The party highlights the contrast between Clarissa's outwardly successful life and her internal sense of dissatisfaction. While she performs her role as a gracious hostess, she is internally preoccupied with thoughts about her past and the meaning of her life. Septimus's tragic end. The novel reaches a tragic climax with the news of Septimus's death. Overwhelmed by his mental anguish and feeling hopeless, Septimus decides to take his own life by jumping out of a window. Retzia is devastated and feels powerless to prevent his tragic end. This event deeply affects Clarissa, who is confronted with the stark reality of human suffering and the fragile nature of life. Clarissa's reflections and conclusion. In the final moments of the novel, Clarissa, having learned about Septimus's death, reflects on the significance of his life and death. She finds a profound connection between his struggles and her own existential contemplations. The novel closes with Clarissa re-engaging with her party guests, but she does so with a heightened awareness of the complexity and fragility of human existence. Her reflections on the events of the day underscore her understanding of the tenuous nature of life and the deep-seated emotions that define the human experience.